Hey y'all, I hope you're well. Welcome to another episode of Healthcare Boulevard. This is a podcast where we shine more light on healthcare, and our goal here is to provide more options to people looking to choose healthcare as a career path, regardless of their background. My name is Sena Kakpomo, and I am your host and creator here. I thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your support. Remember, you can tune in on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Healthcare Boulevard family, welcome again. I am your host and creator here, and I'm ready and on the mic with another guest today. As I mentioned to you all earlier in our last episode, I wanted to get more intro to healthcare specialties on here, and instead of giving you a bunch of things that are like master's degree or doctorate degree or what have you. But anyhow, I have Fargo. Am I spelling it? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes. Hi, yes.
Fargo Mohammadi. I decided I'm gonna start saying people's full name because your last name matters. So for all my previous guests, I apologize for that. I'm learning as I go. But yeah, Fargo is with us today. She's a dental assistant, and we are gonna get into what she does, how she got into it, and her experience, and hopefully y'all can learn something from that. I'm gonna go ahead and ask you to introduce yourself, Fargo, please. Good morning, and please introduce yourself.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Fargo, and I am currently 18 years old and a biology major. I graduated from high school last year, and currently I go to a community college. It's called Irvine Valley College in Irvine, California. And as of now, I work in a dental office, and I am planning on taking this profession to a higher level in the future. And I'm planning on studying this profession, going into it as in becoming a dentist. And so far, it's been pretty nice. And with my classes being online, it's been kind of tough in this situation, but I am looking forward to getting back to my elements as soon as possible and to meet new people.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time to sit with me and be here with us. I appreciate that. Um,
Thank you.
so I think you might be one of, if not the youngest guest I've had here for sure. So you definitely get the gold star for, bringing the youth to Healthcare Boulevard, and we appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what being 18 is like. But no, so you are currently a dental assistant, right?
Yes, yes.
When did you start your journey into becoming a dental assistant?
So when I was a senior in high school, I decided to volunteer and intern at a dental office. And it wasn't just a general office, it was an orthodontist office. And since then I felt pretty confident in like learning the new skills and helping the dentist throughout the procedures. But since I was an intern, I didn't really have that much of like I wasn't able to help them in a way to get like more practical. So when it was during the pandemic, I decided to apply for some jobs for dental assisting. But I realized that I needed to go through a new journey for that, and it wasn't as easy as getting like an internship. But most of my interest from this job came from that experience in that dental office, and I decided to give it a shot. Especially, I thought about it if I wanted to go to this field myself. First, I want to experience how it feels like to learn the basics as a dental assistant in order to take that journey and become a dentist eventually.
Now, how were you introduced to the dentistry as a profession? Was there a family member or friend who was a dentist, or was it a dentist that you went to? How were you introduced to that profession?
So no, actually, there is no one who's a dentist in my family or friends. Most of the interest in this field comes from my previous experience and when I was 6 years old. When I was six, I used to, as everyone else, that's your first time experience going to a dental office, and it's very rare for us for someone who is at this age honestly remember all those memories when you were six.
Mm.
But one thing I remember is when I used to go to a dental office, this dental assistant used to always be by my side, holding my hand the whole time, and she made me like going to the dentist to the point where I was looking forward to going to my next appointment. And so as I like grew up, as I tried like different internships, I decided to give it a shot and see how it really feels like to be that person who provides care for others. And when I started the internship and I realized, okay, like this is exactly something what I want to get myself into. And at first I was a little hesitant because of a lot of like journeys that it takes you, a lot of long years of education. But as I got more practical, especially with patients, my interest just grew a lot more from there.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Yeah, I don't remember what I was doing when I was 6 years old. You take the gold medal.
Yeah.
But so you went into dent. How was your education? How long was it? How costly was it? Especially, and so this for all our listeners, this is going to be specific to California.
Right.
As we move forward, I'll try to get more information about other states. But how was
Yes.
your education? What was that like?
So yeah, as you just mentioned, every state has their own rules for dental assistants and dentists, and they all require their own licenses and certifications. Although there are some basic ones that are just they're similar in every state. So the journey for this and the educational journey is so it's pretty different for each private academies, or if you want to take it at a community college, or if you want to basically kind of pay for it a lot more and finish it earlier. So what I decided to do was during my first year of college, I did not really have the time to study the dental assisting full time since I was also taking classes as a bio major. I found this academy where they provided and they offered a 10 weeks program for dental assisting, although it was a little more expensive compared to the other programs. And most of the other programs that are like 9 to 12 months long, they are most of the time free or even with a less cost, but you can also get all your certifications. I decided to go with this faster because I wanted to get to this field earlier. I wanted to experience it faster. I wanted to get a job. So I took a 10-week course. And so by the end of the 10-week, I was able to receive my dental Dental Assistant Practice Act or California Dental Assistant Practice Act, as well as my CPR, infection control, and my X-ray radiation license. And by having all these, basically, these are the basic license and certificates that you are required to have in order to even get qualified for an interview in any dental office. So it was basically during that time, it was about like 3 months almost. And yeah, so it wasn't that long, but at the same time, it was pretty in depth, and it was pretty fast paced because you had this amount of time to basically learn all about it, all about the profession, all about what the job is, and every single responsibility that you need to exceed.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of what the job is, how would you describe a dental assistant to anyone?
Yeah, so basically, first thing I would say is, well, dental assistant is just a title and it's very different in every single office. So a general office, dental assistant does its own role as well as an ortho office or pedo, everything is different. I currently work at an ortho office where I get to have more responsibilities and to be more practical. I would say for just the general dentist and a general dental assistant, what you most of the time do, you're just a supporter. You're just a team supporter. You're just a chairside supporter as well as a patient supporter. So you do get practical, but not as much as how you get it in other specialties. What you most of the time do in general offices is you're mostly chairside. You help with the basic procedures like the impressions, x-rays, and all that stuff, as well as if you are in a specialty or an ortho office, you actually get to work on patients. You actually get to take higher responsibilities and get into more like practical stuff. Um, but I would say it's just every situation you basically get in as a dental assistant is just you have to make sure to like know what you're kind of doing as in like your responsibility with that position.
Mm-hmm.
But most of it, honestly, it would come to the huge part of it is you being a patient supporter and you being the supporter of the dentist that you're working with.
So as you are intending to go to dental school, right? How
Yes.
would you say this is sort of preparing you or getting you a better idea of what that role is as the role of dentist?
Right. So I would say one of the biggest thing is me being able to work with someone who has been in this field and has this experience for such a long time. And this itself allows me to embarrass my basically interest in this field and let the dentist to kind of show me their experiences as a dentist and their own journey,
Mhm.
as well as one of the other biggest thing is once you get practical with patients, you also get to the point of having the confidence of knowing what you're doing and kind of knowing what you have to expect from the this profession or even when you go into the higher level.
Mhm.
And I would say the biggest thing in this job that prepared me or is preparing me to get there is the interaction with patients and how it took me such a long time to be able to get confident in my own skin, basically, to know what I'm doing as a dental assistant and what I'm basically how I'm going to grow and take this skills in a higher level
Mhm.
later on.
Now, I think that touched on my next question, which was going to be your favorite part. So I'm going to skip that and ask you, what's some of your challenges as a dental assistant?
Right. Honestly, the challenges is you have to be able to work under pressure a lot. Like sometimes it gets really overwhelming because you have so many things going on at the same time
Mhm.
and you have to just make sure that like you exactly are like on the right track as well as the timing of how you're doing it. For example, like if a patient comes in, you only have 10 minutes or even like 15 minutes to do a full x-ray and just make sure everything is ready for the dentist,
Mhm.
as well as you have to make sure what the patient is doing at that time. So basically, I think the most of the challenges is you being able to be a good multitasker,
Mhm.
as well as you know how you're basically treating your patient and how like you have to make sure how you're like getting to the point where you know how to communicate with the patients and how you're doing all this thing at the same time. I think that was one of the biggest challenges for me at first. Yeah.
And how long have you been a dentist? I mean, sorry, a dental assistant now?
So I actually recently got to this field and it's been almost 4 months now.
Okay, well, that's a
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah,
I
that
like
is,
how
yeah.
you're doing, so proud of you, okay? How is balancing that with college, and getting
hmm
bachelor's and your education essentially?
Yes. So basically, when I started this job, it was exactly during the middle of my semester. It was pretty hard because I was trying to handle the job with 5 other classes.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, it was pretty overwhelming. But at the same time, one of the biggest thing is the time management and how you're able to make the best out of the little times basically you get. But during the summer, since I was a little more free in terms of like not having as many classes, it was obviously easier for me to work full time and kind of get through the experience like the full time job. Um, but I think the balance is the key to this is how you're managing your time in a smart way, I would say, in just the little times that you get, and how you have to also make sure to put your mental health first, as in like not overwhelming yourself too much with the job and the school. So I think this is the two like biggest and the essential thing that it's helped me to get through this so far.
Mhm, mhm. Now, did your high school, I know some high school have like the option to sort of give you
Hmm.
where you can study some certificate stuff or some.
Yes.
Did they have that option in your high school when you were there?
Yes, they did. They had something called ROP, and they offered this most in Southern California, where if you're in high school when you're a junior or a senior, you basically have this option of doing all this, like getting all these licenses for free. It's a
Hmm.
9-month program that you can join. Yes, my high school did offer it, although at that time I did not join one of those programs because I decided that I wanted to do this when I was a senior,
Hmm.
and so by that time all the classes were full, and the semester for those basically started a long time ago. So that's why I had to kind of wait in between in order to find some other programs that I could get myself into.
Now, would you, even though you weren't in the program, would you
Mhm.
recommend any in high schoolers, maybe like sophomore year, if they wanted to do something similar, to sort of consider those certificate options?
100%. One thing I would say is if you exactly know that's something you want to do, I think the earlier you start, the better it is. Uh, because you have, when you want to graduate, you have all these options of actually getting hired by so many dentists or working as a dental assistant. But I would say first, this based on my own experience, for anyone who wants to get into this field, I think it's really important to kind of have that interning and shadow experience first
Mhm.
to know what they are getting themselves into and what the expectation is
Mhm.
for the dentist before actually spending the time and spending the money or spending every single thing they have in order to get themselves into this field.
Right, right. That's a good advice. Now,
Yeah.
as what demographics do you work with right now? Kids,
Mhm.
elders, or just everything across the
Right. So I would say everyone, and the reason is the office that I work at, it's an ortho office, and so it's pretty high tech with the procedures that we have, and so we don't really do just braces anymore as much. We actually are new to Invisalign, which is a form of braces now, but it's clear and you have the option to take them out and just wear them at any time that you want. So with that being said, there are so many actually older adults that come in and are very interested in this option, as well as the teenagers we have to work with a lot. So I would say during the day we kind of get the mix of everyone.
Okay. So, in working, do you find any group of demographic or what have you of population to be more challenging to work with or
Mhm.
so forth?
Yes, kids. I would say 100% kids. Um, and most of it is because I would say almost every single kid that comes in, they are terrified of what they're getting themselves into. They think that, especially dental assistant, they are so horrified of what we're gonna do to them, especially the high speed and the drills that we use, especially the noises of those. It kind of scares them a lot. But I would say, yeah, and you just have to be very patient with kids. Like that's the biggest thing, which sometimes it can be actually one of the biggest challenges in the job is when you are working on someone and if they're like moving, if they don't know like what they're doing, you have to kind of make sure to explain every single step to them that what you're doing so they would kind of get the reassurance and they would feel like confident that you're not doing anything wrong to them. You're just trying to help them. So
Right.
I would say yes, kids at the end of the day, they're pretty hard to work with.
Yeah, yeah. Now
Yeah.
we'll talk about your education getting here.
Yes.
What are the next steps for you to get to essentially your big goal as a dentist,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yes, so as of now, I have to first finish my bachelor's degree, and by the end of my sophomore or junior year, I have to take the dental admission test, where I can actually be qualified to apply for dental schools. And after taking all the required classes, all the science classes, including biochem and all those classes, I am basically eligible to apply after my senior year of undergrad for the dental schools that I want to. And basically after that, I can, if I get accepted to any, then I will get letters or like interview requests that I have to go on. But one of the biggest thing that they require is a bachelor degree, and they don't require you to get the degree in science. And the reason why I'm majoring in bio is because of the dental admission test. Most of it is based on sciences and biology and chemistry. So I decided to major in this in order to like know about it before studying for the test. Yeah.
Right, right. Well, and do you have any advice for future dental assistant or dental assistant?
Yes. So one of the things that I experienced with that first is when you are new in this field, when you get into this whole professional world at first, you feel very overwhelmed, you feel very challenged. That is completely normal. And you feel like you are competing with so many people who have been in this profession for so long. One of the things that it took me so long to learn is the only person you have to be competing with is the person you were yesterday.
Mm.
And you can't be comparing your skills with someone else in that field. You can't keep overwhelming yourself with the skills that they've mastered and you're still in the beginning of the road and you're trying to learn it. Because at the end of the day, you have some things that that person don't. That person has something that you probably don't. So it's matter of fact, it's just don't compare yourself with others in this field. Everyone has been in it, everyone has been through different journeys, and everyone has different years of experiences. It's what you make the best out of it.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I missed one question earlier, which was, what are other settings, just in general, that dental assistant can be found working in?
Um, so honestly, it's just it varies like differently. Basically, I would say like every day. Um, but most of the time, I would say it's just um most of it it's with like patients and parents, and it's just it's the work itself. I would say like the setting, it's pretty like fast paced, it's pretty overwhelming, but once you actually get to that level where you are confident in what you're doing, then I would say that becomes so much easier to kind of you get yourself adjusted to that setting.
Mhm.
But I would say most of it, it's similar in every single office,
Mhm.
and that's not something that it's like different in every specialty. It's pretty similar. But yeah, so it's
So let me
that.
clarify my question. Thank you for that. But I wanted
Yeah.
to know, in terms of like offices versus hospitals and so forth, can we find assistants only in offices, or are there
Mhm.
places
No,
needed in hospitals and so forth?
right. It's only clinics. They don't work in hospitals. Yes, we only work in clinics. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Well, if you don't
Yeah.
have anything else to add, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah. Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
Of course, of course. And good luck on your education. I would
Thank
love to
you.
have you back for another interview as a dentist. And we can do a 2.0, Fargo 2.0 interview.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
All right, girl. Good luck with
Alright.
everything, and
Thank
have a
you.
nice weekend, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye.
All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you. Please subscribe, follow, like, comment, and share. And stay blessed. Bye.